What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. That's right, I'm actually freaking doing a show. When I said I'm going to do a show. I'm sorry, guys. I'll get better. I hope you guys are well. Please do stick a like on this video. First and foremost, your likes are imperative to the show's survival, as well as my consistency, yes, but you guys can do your part. Just drill those likes for me. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's see what we can get on with. I'm going to talk about a few stories that kind of gone by this week. You know how we do with Transfer Rumor Show. We'll talk about the stories, and then I'm going to give my opinion on them. It's as simple as that. So if you guys feel I'm missing anything, or there's any stories that you want me to comment on that's recently come up that I might have missed, by all means, just let me know. Hit the chat room. Just let me know. Grab my attention. You don't necessarily need to put a super chat in there. I'll try and catch them as best as I possibly can. Though, for those of you watching this on Periscope, do me a quick favor. Hit that can you hit that retweet button, just so that this reaches as many people as possible. That would be fantastic. And I think that is everything. So without further ado, let's get on with today's stories. So where do we start with these stories? Let's start with a big ticket item. We've been into a few big ticket items today. And I just look at these stories and I just think, can I see Arsenal spending the money required for these certain players? Namely, let's start with the big one and the obvious one, and that is Mr. Ben White. Ben White is the Brighton defender, 23 years old, was on loan at Leeds for a long period of time and really came to the attention through what he did at Leeds when Leeds were making their promotional push. Brighton lent him down to Leeds. He did really well. He stepped up and he's continued doing that. And actually, he's now found himself on the plane to the Euros. He initially was a standby, and then Trent obviously found himself injured. And it's now on his way to the Euros. He's had a good season. And, I think many people look at him and think to themselves, yeah, he's a decent defender. Young English, 23 years old. Decent tackle on him, strong, pacey. I would say it's a decent reader of the game, but there's nothing amazingly special about him in my personal opinion. From my understanding, the people who are interested in him are us, United, and Liverpool. If I'm Liverpool, I think Virgil van Dijk and Canute are better than him. But there's no harm necessarily in strengthening your defense completely. And that's what big teams do. I think that was the point that Kenny Ken made, when we were talking about on the podcast last Sunday, when we were trying to talk about a choice between Neves and Batsuma. All of us are like, well, why not go and get both of them? Like, if you're really about this life, go and get both of them. And it looks like Liverpool are trying to sniff around him. Supposedly, he is a Liverpool fan. That is something I do remember reading some time ago. So that there is a reasonable chance that he could end up at Liverpool. United obviously want him. United obviously are always looking to improve their defense. And, I could also see him ending up at United, no problem. Do I see him ending up at Arsenal? Hell no. For a few different reasons. A, why would he choose Arsenal over them type of teams that are being linked with him? Brighton don't tend to let go of their defenders very easily, first of all. So knowing Arsenal, they'll go in there arrogantly trying to do a deal trying to see if they can jiddles Brighton over. Brighton will be like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. And then knowing Arsenal the way we know Arsenal, they'll somehow offend Brighton, and then somehow end up bidding. They want 50 million. We end up bidding 30 million point two plus £1 or something like that. You know, I think he's okay. I don't think there's anything about him that screams 50 million to me. That's just my personal opinion. You know, in all the times you've heard me talk about defenders, and you know Ching knows defenders, right? You ever really heard me talk about Ben White? I think he's decent. Is he better than Holding? Yeah. Is he better than Chambers? I'm not convinced. But you guys know that I like Chambers, so maybe I'm biased though. But I'm not convinced by it. I think he's a decent defender, but I think this is where you've got to read between the lines of English premium. He's 23 years old. He's off to the Euros, and he's an international footballer. When you can read in between the lines of those things, then I think you can get to the real nitty gritty of what type of player he actually is. Plus, you're looking at a situation where arguably, I know our defense has been shit this season, but it's the one thing that's actually quite well stacked. Like, if you're looking to strengthen the team, in some ways, it's the last place I'm looking in terms of numbers. In terms of numbers. Now, if in the meantime someone like a Saliba goes, or there's a deal that can be made that's too good to turn down, and that's something that's different. But I just think in terms of numbers, it's the last focus for me. You know, I'm looking to put my focus elsewhere. But yeah, I think he's okay. I think he's an all right player, but I don't think there's anything about him which screams to me, "Oh, we must have him." You know. But what do you guys think? Maybe I'm alone in this. I do tend to be sometimes. So let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Let me see what you guys are saying. I think you guys are more or less on the same sort of wavelength as what I'm on. To be honest, with regards to this, there doesn't seem to be a lot of enthusiasm generally for Ben White. So yeah, all right, let's keep it moving then. Let's talk about this young man. Now I know the picture doesn't quite fit the screen. I don't think I have another Xhaka picture. I mean, why would I? You know what I mean? But Granit Xhaka, our former captain, really and truthfully, the writing has been on the wall for Granit Xhaka for quite some time. For quite some time. Ever since the Crystal Palace game 2 years ago, where he like threw his shirt on the floor, and you know he's getting pissed off that the fans were pissed off. Not even just at him, at everybody. We were pissed off at everybody that day, but he took it in a way, and the fans have never really forgiven him. You can tell in his arrogant way, he's never really forgiven the fans. As unbelievable as that statement is, but yeah, you can kind of tell that he's never really forgiven the fans. So this divorce was always going to happen. I'm pleasantly surprised it's happening this soon. I must admit, I don't think I've heard, you know, for all the people who do shows these days, I'm yet to see somebody that's actually said that they're surprised that this is happening the way it's happening, as quickly as it's happening, and the way it's developing. Because I must admit, I'm pleasantly surprised that it seems like all the players that I would have put at the top of my chopping block, Granit Xhaka, Hector Bellerin, those are the people that seem to be the ones that are furthest out the door. Which I'm like, okay, what's going on here? One thing I also like to point out, which always will get swept under the carpet, I maintained from the very start that Jose rates Granit Xhaka. I've always had people argue against me with that point. I've always maintained from the start, because I remember that interview I remember that BBC interview where it was on Match of the Day, and they were talking to him about Granit Xhaka and Arsenal, and he said that Arsenal are nothing without Granit Xhaka. And I thought this guy actually rates Granit Xhaka, and I'm like, what is it with managers and rating this man? What am I not seeing that they're seeing? You know, um, for for me, I've never had a good vibe about Granit Xhaka. I'll be real with you. Never. From day one. Everyone knows this. I've had one consistent complaint with Granit Xhaka, and that was the fact that we should have bought Kante. We should have bought Kante. I've got a lot of love from a lot of Chelsea fans who are subscribers of mine that I found through Lee. I love you all, but even you guys deep down know this. When Kante left Leicester, he is quoted as saying he thought he was going to Arsenal. He's quoted as saying that he thought he was going to Arsenal. And then for some inexplicable reason, Arsene Wenger says, no, forget that guy. I'm off to get that guy. And mind you, spend more money on him. It just, for me, it was inexplicable. It never made any sense. It was always something that pissed me off. It was something that never settled well with me. And to the point where, in some ways, he never really started well with me as an Arsenal player from that moment onwards, because maybe stupidly so, I could never get over that point. It's like, how did we get this guy? And I thought to myself, this guy better be amazing, because how do you turn down Kante for this guy? And then lo and behold, you had one team that went on and won the league, and then you had another team that's never been to the Champions League since. Guess who we were? Guess which one of those we were? Because we damn sure weren't a championship winning team. That's what damn sure. That's why I don't understand this obsession with finding this anchor type of deep line playmaker as the DM. Like, why we're insisting on looking at someone like Ruben Neves. Don't get me wrong, I'm nothing against Ruben Neves. I think he's a better version of Granit Xhaka. I'm not convinced he's that much better, but I think he's better. I think he's a better version of Granit Xhaka. But why look for him to play that kind of point, almost that point guard? I hate using the American expression, but it's the best way I could describe it. Almost that kind of guard role of, right, I've got the ball deep, let me deliver it. And every time we were looking for a player in that position, it'd be someone like Jorginho, him, Granit Xhaka. Like, what on earth? Where did we go from that to just a simple workhorse that just runs alongside, grabs the ball, passes it? Doesn't need to be that long pass every single time. Just grab the ball, sit on the ball, pass it, win the ball back. That's the job that I see a Basuma doing. Winning the ball back, grabbing it, giving it to someone like a Thomas Partey, and Thomas Partey either does his thing where he makes one of them Ghanaian gallops, or he passes the ball to someone a bit more technical, in front of him, to the side of him. We seem obsessed with this deep line point guard. The last line of midfield defense has to be someone that could deliver a Pirlo type pass. The fuck? So we seem obsessed with it. That's why I wouldn't mind us going to get both a Neves and a Basuma, because I think we'll need that type of player. But yeah, I think from my point of view, with Granit Xhaka, it's never worked because we first of all, he's a player that divides the fan base. So immediately you have your I know that Lee calls them hipsters. You have your what I call your experts that assume that because you don't agree with them, you don't know football. So you have your people who are that because he's a stat player. He's very much a stat player, no doubt about it. And by the way, I'll be the first one to say I actually think he's had a pretty good season this season. You know, he's been probably a solid. I know I never really did my season review this year, but if I had to give him a mark, I'd give him a solid 6 out of 10. I think he's had a pretty solid 6 to 7 out of 10 season this season. He's been pretty consistent. Hasn't fucked up as much as he normally does. So 6 or 7 out of 10. But the problem that I have with Granit Xhaka is, A, for example, he's one of them players where he crumbles as soon as you put him under pressure. As soon as you put him under pressure. Granit Xhaka is the best player in the world with time. He's the best mark my words, he's the best midfielder in the world with time. When he's got time on the ball and no one is pressuring him, and he can think about what he wants to do, and he can think about how he wants to influence play, and he's not panicked, and he's not being panicked. Shit has to go perfectly right for him. He's one of the best midfielders in the world. When you put him under pressure, that's when he crumbles. Ironically, is for me, this Italy move is perfect for him. It's perfect for him because I've always been the one. Again, you look through my history. Look through my history, right? I've been a big Granit Xhaka critic, no doubt about it. Every time he plays against Italian side, though, this motherfucker is man in a match. Because I don't know what it is about that league. They don't seem to put pressure on the midfielders. So it allows someone like a Granit Xhaka to be fucking fantastic. I remember one time we played United very recently. I think it must have been the season before last. And they put no pressure on Granit Xhaka. And he ran that game. He absolutely ran that game. So I think in my personal opinion, I can see the attributes he has that would be useful to certain teams. I can't sit here and tell you I can't, because I'd be lying. I'd be absolutely lying. And I think for the right team, he'll show up, shine up, and do his thing. And I think, maybe Jose recognizes that. He can't be. Let's be real here. With Jose, he's not exactly managing the. He's managing a big team in Roma. Don't get me wrong, but he's not managing the biggest team he possibly can. So beggars can't be choosers to a certain degree. If there's a way that they could secure Granit Xhaka for cheap, they will. And they know that Arsenal are useless negotiators, which we are. We're useless at negotiating. Any other real team, minimum, without even fucking blinking, would tell Roma £20 million or suck my dick. Pounds, mind you, or suck my dick. Roma know that Arsenal are useless. So they came in and said, this is what we're going to do, yeah? This is what we're going to do. We're trying to buy your player, but this is what we're going to do. 14 million euros. Take it or leave it. 40 million euros? Should have backslapped the shit out of them for that. And I mind you, I can't stand Granit Xhaka, but don't take the piss. Don't take the piss. If I run a corner shop and I don't like eggs, I don't like eggs. But don't come here taking the piss. You better pay what I want for these eggs. Don't take the piss. We've had to claw and beg them just to get them to. What are they on right now? 16 million euros. 16 million euros. Just shows you how useless we are negotiating. Mind you, Granit Xhaka is 28 years old and has 3 years. Is it 2 years? 2 years left on his deal, and somehow we're letting him go for less than 15 million pounds. Something is deeply wrong with the way we do business. Deeply, deeply wrong. But I don't know what to say. It is what it is, because apparently we made Granit a promise, much similar to Hector Bellerin, that if someone came in for him, that he'd be interested in the move, that we wouldn't stand in his way. That's how he didn't walk away. What was it, last season? That's how Arteta talked him into staying last season. So obviously, when this comes up, I don't think he would have been particularly fussed one way or another if Roma was just interested in him for being interested in him. But the fact that Jose is interested in him, he probably thinks to himself, yeah, well, because this is Granit Xhaka, he's deluded. he doesn't realize Jose will realize the sort of shit player he actually is shortly, right? But being deluded, Granit Xhaka will be like, oh yeah, I'd love to test my skills against Jose and show I'm one of the best players in the world. So I'd love to be coached by someone like that. Let me see. I'm really interested in this move. So he's probably the one, and from what I understand, from what I'm going to ITK it a little bit, from what my sources, Ketchup and Heinz, but sources say is that supposedly he's the one really driving this deal. So apparently he signed a 5-year deal. He's agreed terms. Apparently it's going to be about £2.5 million per year. And it's just a case of now Arsenal and Roma agreeing a fee, which apparently they haven't yet. So let's see what happens. I don't know what you guys think. Do let me know. It'll be interesting to see what you guys think about Granit Xhaka. Would it be sad to see him go? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Okay. Who else are we going to talk about here? Who else are we going to talk about? Just bear with me. I hope you guys are well. Please do slap a like on the video. I know I keep banging on about it. Likes help. It helps the show get noticed, especially those people who don't know what's actually going on, don't know that I'm actually doing a show for once. It is a rare thing. Let's be real here. So let them know. Leave a like on the video. All right, let's talk about Mr. Eck. Daniel Eck, as we know, is the Spotify CEO, supposed Arsenal fan, and he's trying to acquire the club. He's set to have his fortunes are set to be in the region of about 2.8 million. Sorry, excuse me, 2.8 billion pounds, and a lot of people seem to think, why is he so desperate to buy Arsenal? I think all of us have our own theory about this. Mine, I'll be honest, I'm forever the cynic. So I do think it is a publicity thing. I really do. He's taken advantage at the right time. But why I don't necessarily mind it is anything that puts even a modicum, a little sweat, a little tidbit of pressure on Stan Kroenke, I'm all for it. Even if it is manufactured, I don't care. If it helps putting pressure on Stan Kroenke, I'm all for it. That's why you won't see me bitch about it too tough. But he's got 2.8 bill. And I've seen lots and lots of people. I was watching Rant's show earlier. Big up to Rants. And I was watching him and Matisse discuss our situation, and you know, one of the things that they were mentioning was talking about, the fact that he's not got Roman Abramovich money. Listen, very rarely do owners these days have Roman Abramovich oil money. Short of a sheikh or a Russian billionaire, right, coming in and buying a club, it's very unlikely, especially at this level, that you're going to find a billionaire that's going to buy the club and going to be able to just spend money willy nilly on it like that. It's very, 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 very rare. Very rare. I said this last time I talked about Daniel Ek, and I'll say this again. The way he's going to make money is because of the fact that he owns or is the CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world. So that's how he'll get investors in. He'll get people that will actually build a consortium with. That's how essentially he'll be able to buy the club. That's how he'll be able to make investments. He'll also be borrowing against loans. Is this something I'm particularly in favor of? Hell no. But I'm also realistic. I understand the way the situation works. So, I'm at the point now where I just want Stan to go. And my issues with Stan has never been about spending money, because I actually do think he spends money. What my issue is more about the decision making and leading from the front, and the types of decisions he makes. Like, anyone with a right mind would have sacked Arteta by now. Anyone. And in particular, once you saw that Conte was available, in your mind, that's got to make you think, ding, 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 fucking ding. But it doesn't. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And that's what pisses me off. And deep down, I don't think we'll win a league under Kroenke. I just don't. I don't see him ever being ruthless enough to make the types of decisions he needs to make in order to put us into a position where we are able to win leagues again. So I don't know. That's just kind of my view on it. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Now I'm going to talk about these next stories real quick, because I just realized I didn't realize I'd been on for 29 minutes, and I'm just rabbiting on and on and on, and I still got a few more people to talk about. All right, so let's talk about Onana. What's my name? Onana. From my understanding, Onana has had his ban reduced. He's had his ban reduced from a year to 9 months, which, funny enough, I predicted. I'm pretty sure your boy predicted that. So it's been reduced to 9 months. Obviously, that includes time served. So what that looks like for Onana is um, he'll be continuously off until November. So 4th of November, and he'll be free to actually train 4th of October. So yeah, that looks good. Obviously, from our perspective, I think regardless of what the outcome was, Arsenal were looking to make a purchase today, and I think that was going to be an Onana. Um, so yeah, what do you guys think? Again, let me know. I think he's a good player. I've heard people say that we're looking to buy him mainly for his contribution, as opposed to anything else. He's not a particularly amazing shot stopper, but you know, hopefully, if we do everything right, then we won't need the amazing tots, not amazing tots, shot stopper that you guys keep banging on about. But again, let me know what you think. Would you buy Onana? They're talking about £7 million for him. This is a guy that was previously worth £45 million to Marseille. Um, leave that. What else? What else? What else? Hector Bellerin. Still no real movement on this. We're waiting to see if um, Real Sociedad, Real Betis come in for an actual bid for him. Again, we're looking for the region of about £60 million for him. It'll be sad if he goes. And I will, in some ways, because it should have been a better story than it ended up being. Um, but I don't know. Hey ho, I hope he's okay in the end. Who else? Who else? Guys, please do slap a like on the video. One more story I'm going to talk about, and obviously it's a pretty big one. Deliberately left it till last, and that is this big man. So this is supposed to be Edu's big secret project. Now, I must admit, my instinct immediately says bullshit. Now, here's why I think that. Now, I have not been on Twitter for about a week or so. I tend to take long breaks from Twitter because if you've been on Twitter, you will understand exactly why it is healthy to take as many breaks as possible from that platform. Um, but in this particular instance, I've taken a break from Twitter. And my understanding was that people were pissed yesterday because there was a video clip going around with Eddie. And Eddie apparently was on a water bike yesterday, enjoying himself because, shit, it's the summer, and he's off work and he decided to go on holiday. And people were vexed because you're hearing all these stories elsewhere about certain teams signing this player and certain teams signing that player. First of all, Edu has a team now. He's got this garlic guy in place, and I think he's got one other person in place as well. So he's got a team now if he really needs it. And second of all, the guy is allowed a holiday, my guy. Shit. He's allowed a holiday. Even, listen, I don't think he's particularly doing a good job either. But he's allowed a holiday, It is what it is. In fact, in some ways, I encourage him to have that holiday. Because unless he's actually going, which I assume he's not, then have the damn holiday, refresh yourself, come back, and get the fuck on it and start making calls. Because we need it. We need him. We need him. So yeah, for me, I'm cool. I'm cool. In terms of this guy, Mr. Isaac, is a Real Sociedad player. Very, very young, but very, very highly rated. Said to be worth in the region of £50 million. But it seems like with every season that passes, that's only going to increase. I must admit, if this guy is that good, and he certainly looks it, I'm going to sit here and pretend like I'm not done what all of you have done, and that's type his freaking name into into YouTube and watch it. But he certainly looks the part. He certainly looks quick. He does need a lot of chances sometimes. But for me, I'm not too bothered by that. I like the fact that he's obviously in the area for those chances. He seems to got a lot of size, a lot of presence about him. Powerful, strong, has an eye for goal. So yeah, I think in my personal view, is he worth £50 million now? No. But this is where I think you've got to make a decision if you're Arsenal. Now, if you really believe that this guy is the new Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because I forgot to tell you, he's Swedish. So he is someone that is from Sweden, and that apparently Zlatan quite rates. So he is someone that people rate highly, including the great man Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You know anything about Zlatan Ibrahimovic? That guy doesn't rate anything outside of his follicles. So, so for him to rate him, he must be doing something right. Um, so yeah, I think from his perspective, he just needs to continue working hard. From Arsenal's perspective, we may need to pay that money. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. If we decide he's good enough, and I see a lot of people excited about him that never knew about him 2 days ago, I hear you. I can hear someone like Lee saying that exact same sentence right now, right? And I hear you. But I think the caliber, sometimes you can tell if a player's worth it by the caliber of teams that are chasing him. I think I've said that on this channel before a couple of times. And there are a lot of people chasing him and high caliber teams chasing him. You talk about the likes of your Barcelonas, the likes of your Real Madrids, and if, let's face it, if we go head to head with those guys, we have no chance. And that was when we were in Europe. Never mind now. I think with these types of players that you think there's a good chance that they will make it and that they're worth it, you take that chance. But again, this is where you have a scout who can really give you the lowdown as to what sort of player this is. But we just sacked a bunch. So this is where we're dumb. But in my personal view, I would be tempted to take the punt. Of all the people that we've been linked with recently for big money moves, this is the one guy that I would be very tempted. That if Stan was to make it available specifically for this player, I would be very tempted. Sometimes you only live once, you know? And if we could get rid of a Lacazette, or even an Aubameyang at this point, I could care less, right? And generate that sort of money required, I'd be very, very tempted. Very, very tempted. Because in some ways, it's better paying the 50 million now than in a year or two's time, you're watching this guy play for PSG, wondering what would have been. How many people look back at the deal for my man, forgot his name, when he played for Monaco, and just thought, I wish Arsenal paid 50 million for it. Excuse me. I wish Arsenal paid 50 million for it. There's so many people. Excuse me. Yeah. There's so many people that wish that we could have paid 50 million for Mbappe. That's the one, Jamie. Thank you. That wishes we could have paid 50 million for Mbappe. I'm not suggesting necessarily it could be Mbappe. By the way, please don't quote that, clip that, and I look like an idiot for it. What I'm saying is sometimes, just sometimes, you make that bet. I don't think necessarily when you look at Ben White, he's worth £50 million. So that to me is a bet that you don't make. However, I look at this kid and the attributes he has. And to me, I think they are, and I think they will end up being perfect for the Premier League. I really do. You buy him now, and let's just call a spade a spade. Let's be honest with ourselves for once as Arsenal fans. When eventually a huge team comes in for him, like a Man City, like a Barcelona, like a PSG, and maybe not even a Barcelona these days. I'm in teams with actual cash money, and they are prepared to spend the huge dollar to get him. Then we're in a strong position where even if we cash in on him, we're for once on the right side of that cash in. So yeah, for me, I'm just putting it out there. I don't know what you guys think. Again, let me know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you guys will say you sat there thinking, no fucking way. No way is he worth £50 million now. And I'll say it once again. I'm not saying he's worth £50 million now, but I'm saying the potential project might just be worth it. It might just be worth it. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Yes, thank you for those people asking if I'm all right. I I've had a tickly cough. So I had my first COVID jab last Wednesday, Tuesday, one of the two. And ever since then, I've had this horrible cough. It's been pissing me off. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Yes, the Eddie Nketiah deal, I'm not going to really talk about that. The Eddie Nketiah deal doesn't make a lot of sense to me because, all right, the whole point is that they want him to sign a new deal so that it can protect his value. But surely, any value that you are protecting, you'll only spend in a sign-on fee for Eddie Nketiah, surely. Because if I'm Eddie Nketiah, I want a couple of mil to sign this contract. You know why? Because I know how much. I know the reason you want me to sign a contract. I know because I know the reason you want me to sign a contract. Couple of mil I need now as a signing off fee to sign now. So how much are we really saving? You know, I'd be confident that we could get a decent amount of change for Eddie Nketiah. And I mean, again, unless they are not marketing it right, because of course Arsenal don't know how to sell. But I know that Eddie Nketiah has plenty of suitors. So yeah, it is what it is. But I am intrigued by that situation. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it from me. I hope you guys are well. Thank you so much for listening in. I'm going to try and do these late night shows a little bit more often. I know that occasionally Turkish likes to go on late at night sometimes, and truth be told, even sometimes I watch those late night shows. Turkish is my boy, so sometimes I'll watch those late night shows. So, yeah, it really depends on who else is on and what I have going on in terms of work. But I'm gonna try and do these kind of 10 o'clock type shows a little bit more often. So keep a lookout, especially during the transfers. Obviously, the only time I won't do it is if I'm working with Lee in terms of doing a fan cam or doing a watch along. So keep that in mind. And obviously, we're going to be doing some for the Euros, particularly for England. What else? I think that's pretty much it. But I'll give you a buzz later. All right. I'll give you a buzz later. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, all things being well. Take care for now, and Arteta out and up the Arsenal. Can I do both? Fuck it, I've done both.